Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Fantastic point earned at the Emirates. It wasn't pretty, but it was a point. And it was a point that a lot of people didn't think we were going to get today. Even though Arsenal could probably it's one of those games where Arsenal could probably still be playing now and still wouldn't score. Doesn't happen to us that often against the so-called Big Six or whatever. But a really, really good point. And yeah, we're unbeaten for like what? 13 days? That's not bad. That's not bad. Let's get into it. Jordan Pickford in goal. Heroic day. I spoke to some Arsenal fans yesterday who actually said, he always has a good game against them. And he did. He did today. 5 saves. Punches. Well, actually, no. 5 goals prevented, according to the stats. 5 goals prevented. Which is mad. Oh, no, 1.89. I'm talking up my arse here. 1.89. It's because I've got a big shiny light in my eye. I can't quite see. 5 saves, 1.89 goals prevented. Nearly 2 goals. But all round, just had a really good game. Very commanding. The punches and for the most part, the kicking, although there was a couple of kicks that weren't perfect, but for the most part, done really well. So, yeah, he's done it again, hasn't he? He's done it again. A lot of people question him. A lot of people who are not Evertonians like talking about him. But when you look at some of the other goalkeepers in the Premier League and just the general consistency, I know, people talked about the beginning of the season and he looked a little bit shaky and not coming for crosses and stuff like that. Suppose coming off straight off the Euros, wasn't it? And again, straight into the season. He just loves playing. He just seems to love playing for Everton. Jordan Pickford, in the Premier League area, will go down as one of our greats. It's just annoying in many ways that most of his time at Everton has been not relegation or anything like that. Just for the most part, just pretty much nothing. That not many high moments for him. He did pick up a yellow card, and I don't know whether that was a yellow card kicking the ball away when it's our kick. Like, yellow card is supposed to be when you are preventing the other team from starting the game. Well, it was our ball. It was our ball at the end of the day. I don't get that. It's not kicking the ball away as such. I get it because he booted it right down. He volleyed it, and it was. But who cares? Who cares? He wasn't stupid enough to pick up another yellow, and that's the main part. But I thought he was excellent today. Thought he really was. I thought he really was excellent. So I give Jared Brandtwaite a 9 for today's performance. Ashley Young, again, solid, very, very solid performance today. We said, for what we're trying to do, Ashley Young is almost perfect. Forget his age, 39 years of age. But I do find that almost irrelevant at times. In games like this, Ashley Young is pretty good. As long as he's not asked to do anything too much. I mean, he's won 7 of his 9 ground duels today. All that experience, you can see all that experience. And he just does his job for the most part without too much of a fuss. He does, as long as he's not getting involved too much. There's one early on where him and Taki he was far too high, but then Taki leaving the lad on side, and they had a little bit of a dispute about it. There's ones like that, and we saw that at Old Trafford as well, getting caught high up the pitch. But for the most part, he uses his experience. Who was he up against? Martinelli. I don't think Martinelli is good enough to give him too much trouble. He doesn't commit, or he's. I do actually think he's learned at Everton. I do actually think this season he's learned. There was a thing early on this season that we talked about, um, of not quite appreciating that you don't have that pace anymore. And you have to start using your brain. And I think, for the most part, I think he started to use his brain a lot more. Ashley Young, when it comes to playing, just show you his heat map there, and you can see he got into their half as well. You know, it wasn't just a case of defending for the entire game. He did get into their half, and broke at times. You can see that one inside our box there, just defending there. But I thought he had an all round really good game today. I think you have to. I think if you're going to come away with a point from Arsenal, I think the back four does have a good game. He's not. Listen, we all know that he's not someone we want to go forward with. But in games like this, he is a good fullback. And I thought he had a good solid game today. So I would give Ashley Young a 7.7 for today's performance. On the other side for Vitaly Mykolenko, a lot harder of a day in terms of who he was up against in Saka. Jules won 5 out of 11. But I thought what he did today was he didn't. It's a little bit unquantifiable in terms of like stats. I think what he did was he upset Saka. I think he got under Saka's skin. I think Saka went down a few times where he just sort of clipped him and just made sure he knew he was there. He just got in nice and tight to him. And he also gave him enough time at times to feel like he had an opportunity to go to skin him. And then Mykolenko would close the gap really quickly. I think that was important. I think Mykolenko, when it's one-on-one, is quite good. He's a lot better when the player wants to go on the outside of him. And that's where I was a little bit worried today, is that because Saka likes to come into the inside onto his left foot. And that's where I was a little bit worried. But I think him and Jared Brandtwaite doubled up quite well. And I thought he had a really solid game. The Arsenal fans were obviously calling for a penalty at the end. It did go to VAR. There was a couple of, there was hearts in the mouth but I think it was more to do with there was loads of bodies. I think he got the touch. I think he uses his body brilliantly because he rolls them and then comes away with the ball. Obviously, that's what VAR is for these days, to check those things. But it was never a penalty. And I thought Mykolenko had, because at the end of the day, Saka is he's their most explosive player. Odegaard's, everything goes through him, and he's the one who knits everything together really nicely and plays those passes that you don't see coming. That's what makes him such a good player. But Saka is the explosive player who gets them going out of nothing and runs at players and commits players. And to be honest, I thought Mykolenko put him into the right places. He never let him get into those areas, shooting opportunities or anything like that, or too many where he can lay it back to someone coming in, which you see Arsenal do a lot. So I thought he done really, really well today. So I would give Mykolenko an 8. I'll just show you this is heat map there. So there was a lot more of defending. You can see that, and he had to stick to that job. He couldn't go gallivanting up the pitch whatsoever, because when you've got a player like Saka to mark, you just can't do that at all. The two centre backs, obviously starting with James Tarkowski. Apart from a couple of silly moments One being the header back, and one being the moment with him and Pickford, where Pickford bobbled one to him, and then his first touch was horrendous. And apart from that, I thought he was excellent all the way through. You know, you could tell he was up. His heat map's actually hilarious. Look at that. I mean, that shows you how much defending we did in our own box today. You know, normally Taki is in the right hand side, just where that little right where that blob is, just on the edge of the box. That's normally where you find him. But for him to be in our box most of the game just shows you what kind of game it was. Um, 7 clearances, three out of 4 aerial duels. I thought he was just like immense the entire game. I thought he was right in the referee's face when he needed to be as well. I thought he was, um, making sure he was communicating to the players all the time. I just thought, in terms of defending him and the whole back four had to like basically make sure they were on it the entire game. And I think he made, not only was he on it, but I think he made sure everyone was on it as well. So I thought he had a really, really solid game. I'm just trying to think if there's like any, I don't think there was any big moments as such. It was a few blocks, a few big headers, certainly from, the set pieces were important as well. Making sure they didn't get, set pieces were massively important today. But I just thought there was no sort of one, because it's not a one-on-one versus Saka. This is number one. It's their set pieces which are so important. Kai Havertz, I think Taki should be handling him when you're that deep, because you're not giving him any space. I think you should be beating him in the air. And I think he did that. So James Tarkowski's another one today I would give an 8 to, because I just thought he was really, really solid today and led by example. Jared Brandtwaite, just see his heat map there. Little bit more expansive, let's say, but again, very deep, very, very deep. I thought Jared was defensively very solid today. There was a couple of moments. There was one defensively where I think Saka went past Mykolenko in the first half, or he slipped actually, Mykolenko, and then it was him and they were in the box, and Jared Brandtwaite, I don't know whether he could have done anything, as in like, because I think if he touches him and Saka goes down, there's an opportunity for a penalty there. Brandtwaite defensively, block shots 7, 2 out of 3 aerial duels, 1 out of 2. Ground duels. It was just his possession today. There was 2 or 3 times where he was lax. I know a few people have pointed out he was stretching his hamstring quite a lot in the second half. That was something that was mentioned during the game as well. His passes are just under hit. I've noticed this in every game he's played since he came back. His passing, he's not solid. Like, his passes are really under hit. And it's something that wasn't a thing last season. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he had a bad game, because defensively I thought he had a good game. But his passes are just all under hit. A lot of them, anyway. Back to Pickford. There was one where Pickford had to really come out. There was one he gave away in the first half, and there was one where Pickford had to be on his toes. Excuse me. And make sure he won it. And I think that's the only thing letting him down at the moment. Everything else, he's getting back to speed, but he just doesn't seem to be putting enough on his passes, and especially the ones that go back to the goalkeeper. And he's been caught out in the Manchester United game. He's been caught out a couple of times in this game, but we've got away with it. And it's certainly something that he has to improve on, or pick up that, because obviously last season one of the big things for Jared Brandtwaite was his passing ability, coming out with the ball. And what you want from any player is that the professional footballers, they should be wrapping it into each other. Not overhitting it, but professional footballers should be able to wrap the ball into each other and get the player gets the. That's why, and that's when you see good players. That's the difference in good players and really good players. Really good footballers can wrap the ball into each other, and it's taken in one touch, and they're away. And that's when you see the good teams. Um, and I just think that's something that he hasn't quite got back to since he come back. Defending and everything else, that's coming back. There's no problem with that at all. He just hasn't quite got to that up to that level yet of where he is. Now, don't forget, this is a lad who didn't have a pre-season at all, and I think you forget how important pre-seasons are. They are massively important to get that core fitness. So he had no pre-season, and I think what's this now? It's like his fourth, fifth start, is it? So that'll come because he's a good player. I've no doubt in my mind that that'll come because that's one of his strengths is actually his passing out to the back, and it's one of the things we relied on last year. Him coming out with the back and being so calm. He's just got to find that, and he'll find that in games. So that was just the only real thing today. Everything else, I thought he was pretty. He's still finding his feet. And actually, probably having that 10 games with seeing this in the Wolves game probably didn't help him as such. Maybe, games over Christmas, having repeated games will probably help him get to that level. We need them to be fully on it. So I would give Jared Branthwaite a 7 for today's performance. Into midfield, Mangala, him and certainly Disagana Gay did a lot of work today. A lot of work just shielding the midfield, just being dogged in there, just making sure they cut out the passing lanes, that they kept that. It's not about having a lot of the ball. It's about doing the other stuff as a midfielder in a game like this, because you spend most of the game not having the ball. It's about the out of position play. He only actually had 22 passes in the entire game, and you've got to stay very, very disciplined. And I thought he did that today. I think our midfield is so much better within him in it. It was, to me, I couldn't quite understand why he wasn't getting games of football and why he was sitting on the bench. I found that very, very strange. It was like the manager was trying to get some of his favourites into the team, and he bought, he went out the side because he's on loan, and maybe a player who's handed to the manager rather than the manager wanting the player as such. But I think he has to play midfield, I really do. And if that means that one of the manager's favourites has to go out the team, then so be it. And today, one of the manager's favourites did go out the team because he's got a knee injury. So I thought Mangala was very, very disciplined, done his job in front of the back four. And you need that. You absolutely need that on days like this. So I would give Mangala a 7. Disagana Gay, I thought was absolutely brilliant today. I thought he was so calm. 46 touches, 94% pass accuracy. I just thought he was so calm. You can see his heat map there, all over the pitch. Big blob in our box, big blob on the outside of the box there. I thought he was brilliant today. I thought the way he mopped up, not everything, but quite a lot. I just thought he was so impressive. 19 out of 13 duels won. Dribble attempts 4 out of 4. I just thought ground duels 4 out of 4. Aerial duels 9 out of 13. 9 out of 13 aerial duels. That's mad. That is absolutely mad. Or are my eyes deceiving me again? Probably. No, he was excellent. He was excellent today. He just was a thorn in the side for every time I think Arsenal thought they were through. Every time they thought they would got into a position, he sort of turned up and picked the pocket. I just thought he was excellent today. Just thought he was excellent, and He's got all that experience. He's got all. I actually, I know he went to PSG. I actually think he could have been an Arsenal player. I think would have been. I just think like 6 or 7 years ago, I think he would have been like a perfect the player as this kind of guy was 6 or 7 years ago would be perfect for this Arsenal team. Just somebody who knows how to play in midfield, but he's still got all that experience, and he's so pivotal for Everton. He really is. He really is. And at his age, he's still got the hunger. He's still got the experience. Clearly, he loves playing for Everton. Obviously, and very rarely does he have a poor game. All right, he might have moments in games. He might play a couple of, we've seen in the last few weeks playing maybe stupid little passes or under-hit passes, or certainly when he's higher up the pitch, giving the ball away because he's trying to thread the ball through, the eye of a needle or something. But in game, I think he loves playing in games like this where everything's against you and you really have to, it's backs to the wall. And yeah, I know people talk about his age quite a lot like they do with Ashley Young, but I thought he was brilliant today. I really did. And, it was a toss-up to whether I think he was man of the match. I think, well, I mean, he's definitely the outfield man of the match, certainly. I think Jordan Pickford, obviously, for his saves, was massive today. And we don't get something out of the game without Jordan Pickford making those saves. But I certainly feel like the outfield players, I think you would have to say he was man of the match. So at Jessica Gay, I would give it 8.34 today. Abdoulaye Doucouré really should have scored for me. Really should have scored. Who knows if he would have scored, how different the game would have been. But I just, he has to sit Gabriel down there. He has to sit him down. There's a big opportunity wasted, I thought. Different kind, even though he's playing in that number 10, he was obviously playing a little bit deeper today. Although if you see his heat map there, he is obviously, there is spots in the opposition half, but obviously most of it is in our half and some in front of our goal. So it was like we were playing, it was like a 4-3-3 as such, with the three all making sure they protected and got behind the ball, making it really, really difficult for obviously Arsenal today. Was fine. Done his job. As I said before, just protected. Obviously important on set pieces for us at both ends. That extra height, making it more difficult for Arsenal. Didn't offer loads in the final third, but I obviously had our only big chance of the game. So, yeah, he was fine. He was fine. Done his job. Should have scored, personally. Should have scored. Should have sat him down. Should have just let Gabriel slide right past him. They're the moments where I feel I do have a little bit of sympathy for Sean Dyche of the attacking players. We do get very few chances, and that's half the problem. We've had one chance in the entire game, but it's a big chance. Someone with a little bit more quality does let Gabriel slide past them, and then he's got a one-on-one with the keeper. We just don't have too many of those players. It was our best moment of the game, and sadly, he's not got that level of composure, which is one of those things, isn't it? You can. We need better players. Simple as that. Doucouré, I would give a 6.8 for today's performance. In the final third, Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison was terrible today. Let's get it right. Jack Harrison was so poor. 23 touches, lasted 66 minutes. He was just non-existent. The right-hand side for this team is so weak in terms of anyone who comes in. You can just see his heat map there. There's just nothing. There's absolutely nothing. He was just anonymous. And I feel like I feel like the team are always looking left, are always looking to get the ball to Njai. He just doesn't, him and Linson just don't assert themselves on games enough because they just don't do anything. They just don't do anything. We need the right winger. It's it's the first position. It's what we should be looking at. You know, we've gone for right wingers and we've gone for the same right winger in the last 3 windows or 2 summer windows at least in Nonto. Not got them and sort of abandoned the idea of having anyone else. We need to bring in a right winger. It's like where I do have sympathy for Linson and Harrison is they're not right wingers. Neither of them are right wingers. Harrison's a left winger. And that's been proven. That has been proven. When he played for Leeds, he was Bielsa fit, so there was probably more out of him. I don't think he has ever have been as fit as he was under Bielsa, and that unlocked something that I just don't think he's got in right now, because I just don't think he'll ever be as fit as, I know Dyche likes to pride himself on, but I think Bielsa fit beats Dyche fit. So he was poor, very, very poor, and there was no surprise to see him taken off. The only problem is you're replacing him with someone who's not a right winger as well. And I certainly feel, Linson, I feel sad for him in a way, because he's coming into Premier League football in a position he doesn't play in. He's been crowbarred in a position like so many players are, not just under this manager, but under lots of managers at Everton. So, yeah, Jack was non-existent, and there was just like one moment in the second half that I think he got the ball, he cut in, and he just played the ball, and Don went one way, and he went, and the ball just went behind him. The ball, like, that's how bad the ball was. It just rolled behind him. Yeah, he was very, very poor today. Give him a 3. He was genuinely that bad. Today. I would give him a 3. On the other side, Jai, you can see his heat map there. He's in the wrong place. Again, I spoke to Arsenal fans yesterday about the game we were talking about in Jai, and I said, you'll probably be impressed by Jai, but I bet you all the work he does will be 50 yards from goal. And it was. Yeah, that's the problem. Nonto, sorry, I was looking at the comments. Loads of people talking about Nonto. And Jai should be playing. When I say should be, I mean just generally should be playing as a number 10 behind the striker. Like, literally, like there's a string attached to them, and he plays behind them. And he isn't. He's playing on the left wing in a team, well, certainly today, where he's going to pick up the ball, a lot of it in his own half. And listen, I thought he done really well to get us up the pitch at times. There was one late on that he done brilliantly well to get us up the pitch. 39 touches, 84% pass accuracy. I thought he did really well to get us up the pitch. But unfortunately, he's too far away from goal, and that to make real damage, because we don't commit. We don't, when we have the ball, our whole or other teams, the whole team, you move up as a unit. Ours don't. There was one in the first half, I think it was, where we broke, and I think 3 players broke, and the rest of the team stayed back. And that's basically what we do quite a lot. But I thought he was bright today. I thought when he got on the ball, he tried to affect it. He works his socks off as well. When he picks the ball up, or when he doesn't have the ball, he's always trying to win the ball back or stay in possession. And he's dogged, and that's the difference. You look from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. You look at the left-hand side and feel like something might happen. You look at the right-hand side and you just think like nothing's going to happen. And that's the difference. That's the difference. And if he was playing 10, 15 yards further forward, central as well, we'd get a lot more out of him. I think he's a good player. I think he could play in a lot more expansive team and really look a good player. So it's about getting the most out of him. But what he doesn't do, he doesn't hide, and he works his socks off. So Njai, I would give a 7 for today's performance. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who obviously played 66 minutes. And I thought it was solid today. I thought he was really solid. And I based that not only on his performance, but on Brocia's performance. You're feeding off absolute scraps as a centre-forward in most Everton games, but in a game like this, you are feeding on literal scraps. He had 17 touches of the ball. And I thought he held the ball up when it got into him really well. Not just getting it and flicking it on, but getting it into his feet and then moving around and then bringing other players into it. There was a couple of times he played excellent passes into people once he'd held it up. And I thought he did well for the just over the for the 66 minutes he was on the pitch. It's always going to be difficult for a centre forward in a game like this. It's always going to be tough to play up against. Arsenal's centre backs are fantastic as they are, and they obviously have the first choices. Back today, I think it's always going to be tough, but I thought he'd done well. I thought he'd done well today, so no problem in his performance. And I also waited till I also thought when Brozier came on, I just want to see. I know Brozier's not at that, not fitness and all that, but I just want to see how Brozier did against them. And you could see Brozier trying to hold the ball up a little bit more difficult for him. But a lot of the balls Brozier were getting, again, the same as what Dom was getting. Say it every week. Say it every week about our centre forwards. It's just so tough for them because of the way we play and the fact that we don't support them. We don't get men around them. So I thought Dom was sound today. I really did. And he's, holding that ball up is key when you're in these games. It really is. So I'd give Dom I give Dom 6.9 for today's performance. The subs, Lindstrom played the last 25 minutes as such. Yeah, tough. Never really. Where I was disappointed in him, when there was a couple of moments he had chances to either get it into Brozier, as in get it into his chest or get it into his feet, because there was so much space ahead between where Brozier and the centre back was and the next Arsenal player, that you could get it into his feet or put it into a channel. And a couple of times he put it over Brozier, and so the centre back could just mop it up. And I was just really disappointed by that. Like, any footballer of any level playing in any position, I was just like, get it into his feet or get it into a channel where he's got an opportunity to go and have a run at these. And I was disappointed in that, really disappointed in that he never done that. Only had 11 touches of the ball, but yeah, tough for him, but never really got himself into the game at all. So I give him a 5. Armando Brozier, 15 passes. Again, really, really difficult for him. Really, really difficult for him to assert himself. We did have a couple of late opportunities, a couple of late flurries where, we tried to break, maybe a little bit of a smash and grab. But, it's difficult, isn't it, for a player who's been out. What's this now? His second appearance after Wolves. Obviously come on against Wolves. Done well in the Wolves game. This is really difficult. Coming on for the last 20-odd minutes, and you've got to be a foil because you're going to be defending. It's really, really tough. So he, I've said it, I say it every single week. Playing up front for Everton, it's got to be one of the most difficult positions to be in the entire Premier League. It is a thankless task where if you get more than 2 opportunities a game, you are very, very lucky. So when you're away at Arsenal and you are trying to not concede, the chances of getting anything in the latter stages are going to be very, very minimal. So he come on, and obviously what you've seen today is the manager trusts Brozier more than he trusts. If anything, that's Beto finished. By the way, that's Beto finished. Because if a manager trusts Brozier in a game that it's 0-0 and you are clinging onto a point and you need that focal point, that's because if Beto had come on today, and it's the thing I've always said about Beto, is that the lad can't hold the ball up. And in a game like this, you need someone to hold the ball up. It's why towards the end of last season, the manager started to look at Schmitty rather than Beto. Is because the lag back to goal is just not at the level. And we haven't found a way to do it to get better in the other way than what he is good at. So for the manager to put Brozier on with 25 minutes left, I think that shows you that Brozier is the number 2 now, coming off the bench. Listen, things can change, different kinds of games. You're playing a different style, or you're playing against a team where you've got to go. You're not playing back to goal. But that trust factor, clearly Beto has slipped down to number 3. Schmitty wasn't on the bench. That doesn't surprise me. Schmitty, I think, will play on Monday. I think there's an under-21s game on Monday. Schmitty will play in that. We did have quite strongest bench today, and obviously if Dwight McNeil had played, then probably Harrison Armstrong wouldn't have been involved. And then you do have it's not the strongest bench because we've still got James Garner and Tim Iraboom to come back. But obviously everything's getting a little bit stronger, and obviously when they come back, we might have players out injured. You don't know, but excuse me, if Brozier continues to getting fitter and staying fit, that's the most important thing. It's the thing that he struggled with most of his career so far. Is if he stays fit, I think Beto's going to find it very, very difficult to get opportunities. So Brozier, I give a 6 for Brozier coming on, but I think that's the most interesting point, that he did put him on. Well, listen, when you're 4-0 up at home against Wolves, it's not an issue, is it? Player needs game time. You're going to put him on. It's a nice little cameo. Go in the Emirates for the last 25 minutes. And you know that centre forward is massively important for your defending. You're not looking for him to score goals as such, or that one opportunity may arise, but you are looking for someone. He had to take Harrison off. He had to. He didn't really have to take Dom off today. They weren't watching the game thinking Dom looks knackered or Dom's not having a good game. I thought Dominic Calvert-Lewin was fine. So to take him off with 25 minutes to go and bring Brozier on is a pretty big statement in terms of the pecking order. So we've learned something there, haven't we? We've learned something. So there you go. Listen, it's not one that's going to be played back too many times. It ain't going to be first on match of the day, that's for sure. But we dogged out a point, and, we can go into this week, which hopefully will be a very positive week ahead of the Chelsea game with a bit more of a smile on our face. So there you go. Fair play. Fair play to the tactics from Sean Dyche, and fair play to the players for carrying out that plan as well. There you go. Make sure you check out Baz's videos. Make sure you check out my instant match reaction. We'll be live on Monday, 1:15 on YouTube, and then we'll be doing the final word over on Toffee TV Premier. Thanks for watching. See you later.